After a bit of alterations in the schedule, it is time to go racing again. Heat 3A of Unlimited Boat Racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, and here are your boats. In Heat 3A, the West Coast Collision Peters and May boat, the second boat for Graham Trucking, Mr. Julio, Les Schwab Tires, and Team Red Dot, and Our Gang Racing, Fox Plumbing. Those are the boats. Unlimited Racing, Heat 3A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Heat 3A in the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Bosch and Thermador. Invented for life, real innovations for real cooks, and is presented for Seafair by Tulalip Resort Casino. Indulge in the luxury and excitement of Tulalip Resort Casino.
We have 3 minutes and 15 seconds before the start of Heat 3A, and you can see the boats out on the course already. Starter clock brought to you by J.P. Morgan Chase, a proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. Taking a look, the temperature climbing in a hurry, 82 degrees, but still very, very light winds and just a light chop now on the water. But as we know, this can get a little bumpy out here, especially as we get late in the day and more boats come and join the log boom. Let's check out the drivers now in Heat 3A. And here they are. Cal Phipps at the controls of the Graham Trucking 2 boat. Greg Hopp and Mr. Gilio. And John Zimmerman, who's got a couple of wins already to his credit. Well, are we going to the pits, guys? Alexis Smith is in the pits for us. Alexis.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Steve. Actually, I was trying to talk to the crew here, Zimmerman's crew, while the vintage hydros were out. We couldn't hear anything. We just kept yelling at each other. They're so loud, the old Thunderboats, but I did finally get out of them. The main theme right now, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So they've had a great day. They've had a great weekend. They basically have not tweaked anything. They've got a fast boat. They're heading out. They're expecting to win again.
All right, Alexis. Tommy Thompson, as well as Jeff Bernard, and our Chris Francis has been watching both those teams get ready. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned both those teams, Steve. They were side by side in the pits here, Tommy and Jeff Bernard. Now, you may think this is John Zimmerman's heat to win because he's at a very fast boat, but these two are going to have a nice little battle because the winner in those two race boats, well, one of them may be in the final, and that's always what these teams want to do. They want to race in the final race, so we're going to have some action back in the pack. All right, Chris and Alexis, thanks very much. So the boats are out there going to jockey for position with a minute and a half left. As you know, our champion driver, Chip Hanauer, is usually here in the booth with us. However, he is in the pits, having just climbed out of the Blue Blaster. We will try to get him on a microphone and in front of a monitor to be able to join in the conversation and the calling of this Heat 3A. We are live around the world on KairoTV.com. Here now, the voice of Unlimited Hydroplane Racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve. 1 minute and 4 seconds. We've got a couple of boats right next to each other in lane 1 and lane 2. We'll try to sort that out for you. It looks like it might be Greg Hopp in the DeJulio on the inside lane. We'll take a closer look at that. Cal Phipps is right next to him. It looks like Tommy Thompson is coming up in the that chartreuse. It's really hard to miss that chartreuse number 11 Peters and May. But Greg Hopp is a guy who loves to be in that inside lane. He doesn't often get the inside lane, but that's where he likes to be. And you'll see him paint those buoys. He's probably as good as anybody at holding lane 1 at speed. They are 26 seconds away.
And John Zimmerman, who is looking to be further outside, has a little further to go, but he also may have the fastest boat in this group.
Well, he may, but he's got 2 wins. He really doesn't need to win this race to get into the final. He needs to finish well, but here they come. Greg Hopp on the inside. It'll be Cal Phipps and then Tommy Thompson, John Zimmerman in lane number 4, and way to the outside is going to be Jeff Bernard, and they are at 3, 2, 1. It's going to be pretty close. And the 0, boy, that was a very close start. We'll have to take a look and see. They started to back down just a little bit, and I think Greg Hopp, you can see he's lagging back in lane number 1. Phipps and Tommy Thompson are leading him through the south turn, and it's going to be Thompson as they come off the turn. Greg Hopp in the mix there, too. He's right beside Tommy Thompson. You can't see him, and John Zimmerman got the right side of that boat up in the air, but you got your 2 leaders right there halfway up the backstretch.
I tell you what, this is a really great run for Tom Thompson. He hasn't had a lot of luck this year, but winning this heat and beating a boat like the one to his right would mean a lot. And look what he's got in his left side.
Yeah, he's got Mr. Phipps right in his left side mirror, and they are having a battle. And Zimmerman comes up from the outside. You can see now he is passing. He is passing Tom Thompson at the end of lap number 1. Zimmerman is leading. Thompson is second. We'll look for Phipps as well. He's hidden in the rooster tail, but there's your leader. That is Mr. John Zimmerman. Cal Phipps on the inside. Whoa, Tommy Thompson just barely left him enough room, Chip.
He did, though. It was legal, and that's what a driver is supposed to do. Give him his lane that he deserves, but don't give him an inch more than that.
Up the backstretch, leading 3 boats within about 4 boat lengths of each other. John Zimmerman in first. He's on the outside. Then Tommy Thompson in the 11 Peters and May, and then the Graham Trucking 2 moved a little bit to the right there. Thought he was going to get in to Zimmerman's wake, but he didn't. This is a great boat race, Chip. We got 3 of them you could throw a blanket over.
It is, and the 2 boats to either side of Tom Thompson really have better equipment, so my hat's off to Tom Thompson. Whether he wins this heat or not, he's put up a great fight.
Well, 2 laps down and 1 lap to go, and Zimmerman now starts to stretch out a lead, and Thompson starts to stretch out a lead over Cal Phipps in 3rd place. So it's John Zimmerman leading him through the south turn for the final time around in Heat 3A, and Cal Phipps is falling way, way back there, Chip.
He's falling way back there, and now he's got really crummy water. You're looking at the Graham Trucking there, and there you see the Les Schwab tire. Phipps is really done now. When you have to run through 2 boats' wakes, you just lose too much speed.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. If you can be out front and have clean water, you've got the best position on the race course, and that's where John Zimmerman is right now. And the Les Schwab Tires presents Team Red Dot, and he's coming around the north turn and heading down for the checkered flag. John Zimmerman in the number 9 boat. This would be his 3rd preliminary win this weekend.
I tell you what, this is turning into a pretty nice weekend. Now, we haven't really seen the 3 or 4 really guys battle head to head, but count on me. I believe that Les Schwab boat is going to be a contender in the final.
I think so too. It's one of the boats we picked as one of the front runners. In the old days, they used to call them the hot dogs.
And that was a great run for Tom Thompson. Probably the best run he's had all year.
Yeah, I was just going to say, certainly better than the runs that he had in Detroit. They had a lot of problems, but last week in Tri-Cities, it was just sort of a mediocre weekend for him, and he didn't really have speed, and I think they were a little discouraged after Tri-Cities, but that was a great run for the Peters and May, and the GBR 11. They've chosen, because of their association with Peters and May, which is a British company, to be their number is GBR 11.
Peters and May is a company we all want to see do well in racing, because they're not only racing a boat, but they're responsible to get all this equipment to the Middle East. They're a real supporter of the sport, and I'd love to see them do well.
They've been supportive of smaller classes of inboards. Jeff Bernard and Kip Brown have raced a 5-liter, and for a couple of years, Peters and May were sponsoring that boat, and they've sponsored some other boats in other classes of racing. So Dave Hawley is the CEO of Peters and May, and he is into boat racing, hydroplane racing, big time.
John Zimmerman, I think he's got something for these guys in the final. I don't think they've shown everything they've got. I think they may be holding their best propeller, for example, for the final heat. And if he can get a good start, and if he can get inside, I think of the Roberto, he could win this Alberta League Cup.
Yeah, this battle for the inside lane for the final championship heat is going to be a doozy.
It is. And the deal with the inside, as we've said, is if you have if your boat isn't as good as the competition, you have to be inside of the boats that are faster than you. If you have a boat that's superior to everybody else, as long as you get a good fast start, you can be outside, be patient, and run them down from the outside.
So canopy up as the Peters and May boat. Tommy Thompson heading back into the dock, and we get set here in just a few moments. We'll have Heat 3B. Again, remember, pushed back a couple of hours, both these heats, from an earlier accident that kind of pushed racing back. First turn of the first heat of the day, and we had a flip and lost the Spirit of Qatar for the rest of the day. And now the red dot pulling in as well. So there he is, John Zimmerman. Yes, Chip?
I'm going to try to stay down here in the pits if it's okay with you guys, and see if I can just barge into some of these trucks of the contenders and just see what I can find out what they're thinking, if they'll let any strategy out, how their heart's feeling. We'll just see what we can get.
Well, who better than to know what a driver is thinking right before a big race than our own Chip Hanauer, especially as they're getting set to race for all the marbles here in Seattle and the Cup here at Seafair. Let's head to Chris Francis now, standing by in the Tom Thompson pit.
Yeah, Steve, lots of hugs and kisses here for Tommy Thompson. They really put together a nice run. They said they had a vibration in the last race, had to back off it in the last heat, so it was a good thing they got it going this time, had the setup they wanted, and it got it going. A little swig of water for Tommy, and I haven't spoken to you all weekend long, but except for last Tuesday. But hey, what a great run, and you were right there for a while.
Thanks, Odd. It was a great run. You know, it's really good when you race with people that you're really close to and you know how they run, and you leave each other room for a really exciting race for the fans. And if that wasn't exciting for the fans, nothing is, because it sure was for me.
And now you might be going to the final here. It looks like you're probably in there. So you give them something else, right?
Yeah, that's true. The West Coast Collision team and Peters and May team, you know, we worked really hard to get to this point, and it's been a struggle for us this year. And we're in the final, so we're excited about that. We'll see what happens next.
Good stuff, Tommy. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Steve, back to you.
All right, Chris and Alexis and John Zimmerman getting to be family here. Let's head down to the pits for them.
I know. I can't get away from this guy today. John, another win. It looks like just everything's going right for you this weekend.
The Les Schwab Red Dot boat ran flawless again. This team is awesome. You know, the thing is so fast, it made my job easy.
All right, there you go. Well, we'll find out just how fast it is and if the position's going to be a lot bigger deal in that final heat. Back to you guys.
You're right, Alexis. Thanks very much. And here we go. The results of Heat 3A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. It is the Les Schwab Tires Team Red Dot and John Zimmerman, West Coast Collision, Peters and May, followed by Graham Trucking, Our Gang Racing, and Miss DiGiulio. Those the results, your Heat 3A, brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance, celebrating 75 years.
Heat 3A in the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Bosch and Thermador, invented for life, real innovations for real cooks, and is presented for Seafair by Tulalip Resort Casino. Indulge in the luxury and excitement of Tulalip Resort Casino.
Thank you, Andrew. Time to award for Unlimited Heat 3A, sponsored by the Tulalip Resort Casino and Fox Plumbing and Heating. Here to make the presentation is David Brown from Fox Plumbing and Heating. To the winner of 3A, John Zimmerman, in the 9 Les Schwab Tires Team Red Dot. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Steve. It's a great pleasure that I get to award this to John Zimmerman with Les Schwab Team Red Dot. Finally, we get to meet Lori Jones, John Zimmerman. Congratulations. 3A.
Thank you very much, Dave, and it's good to see you here at Seafair this year. We're glad you're here. Thank you to Les Schwab and Red Dot and all of our sponsors. They gave us a great race boat. We're very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good picture.